All right. Welcome back to the podcast, Gen Xers. We're very glad to see you. That's my co-host, Brian, and I am Sean. A very good day to you all. And I'm in kind of a good mood, considering that it's been kind of a week, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten some bad news today. Not today, but I've gotten some bad news this week. A lot of different things happening, some good things, but it was just chaotic. Like the computer was great, but it's chaotic, causing me to have to do a bunch of stuff to get ready for the show. And man, where to start? Well, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm well.
Yeah.
I think we both got some stuff to rant about today, so most of the stuff I want to talk about will happen later.
Yeah, I know. When we get into the news, you mentioned a little something, and it's. I'm sure I'll have my rant on that little something as well because
I'm sure you will. It's all tied together, right?
Yeah. But anything special happened this week?
I mean, I've started tracking my activity on my Apple again. That on my iPhone, but again, that's going to tie into the stuff we're talking about later. So
yeah, don't want to get you started too early. Well, that's
right.
Fine.
Yeah.
How
about you?
Well, where to begin? I mean, it's first of all, I'm very upset with the Twitter, the Twitter,
Twitter, yeah.
It all, specifically the customer service at Twitter, which is apparently non-existent. I have to wonder. I remember a bunch of people getting fired when Elon came on board. Mm-hmm. Which happened across other tech sectors too. He just happened to be one of the first, but a lot of other people have done it.
Yeah, but it really seemed like he wanted to clean house, right?
Well, sure. But from what we know too, it was pretty top heavy. But I'm not gonna just take up for him blindly. I mean, I am a big supporter of Elon Musk and what he's doing. I didn't even want to mess with Twitter until he bought it. And I thought maybe I'd give it a chance, and that's what I've been doing. But just come to find out that my account was suspended. It was a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday. No, it might have been a couple of days. It's been 2 or 3 days. But they don't give me a reason. They just throw the TOS up there, and like you're supposed to just pick, and there's anything you could pick from, so you have no idea what happened, how to even defend yourself, or if you need defending.
I can't remember how it happened on YouTube. We'll get into YouTube later too. I want to talk about them. But for me, whenever I had any type of a notice of takedown or anything like that, I always had to initiate communications with their support department in order to get like specifics on what the actual code was, right? Like what the copyright violation or whatever it was.
Well, I mean, I wish that I had a way to get in touch. I mean, like it's weird because they have channels within Twitter, but so I don't even know if I said my account got suspended. Did I say that?
You did.
Okay. With your account being suspended, obviously you can't confer with them through Twitter unless you have another account, which is just, which I do. And I have said a couple messages and added the Twitter support team on it, but it doesn't seem to do any good. Before I even got suspended, I was trying to load video, set up some videos for some content, and couldn't get any videos to upload, to which I've done before and had no problem with. And as a Twitter Blue subscriber, I was supposed to be able to have, longer videos and stuff like that. And this wasn't a particularly long video. It was just 20 seconds longer than any normal user would have. And that's what I suspect where the problem is. I'm going to be all over the road here. I think that's one issue. There's a lot of new stuff being fixed, but a lot of holes left over. That's evident if you go through the customer service stuff where they try and acknowledge new things that are happening, but then, you get like one page and the rest is all broken links of stuff that's not there.
Or just a dead page.
Yeah, I'm going to try and just focus in one area. So I got
Yeah.
suspended. Your only recourse, you can't talk to anybody. That's what I was trying to say. You can't talk to anybody. You can try and send an email if you can figure out what the email address is, which I finally got because they finally emailed me after because they give you a link. You say you can appeal. This is pretty much your only recourse.
Yeah.
And you have this little box of like 200 characters or something, to say your piece. And that's it.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what you're saying your piece about because they didn't tell you anything specific. And the problem I have with that is, one, you have no warning. And then two, how do you correct a behavior that you don't know
That
what
you're not aware of what it is.
You're not aware of what it is. And is it truly, is it true that you should have been suspended? That's the other thing. How do I know if it's true? I can't defend. The whole thing sucks. And it's happened to me one time before. I got a 12-hour partial ban. And it was the same thing, but they did at least kind of guide me in the direction of what I knew what it might have been. This I have no idea. And it's very weird, but you can't. So I got an email address just because they denied my appeal. And it was like, it's you don't feel like you're talking to anybody. It looks like a computer generated little web page that says, we reviewed your request for reinstatement and we cannot do this at this time, or some crap like that.
What's the 3 ideals of entrepreneurship? Automate.
Let me tell you something. It is horrible, their customer service. Well, that's what I was getting to earlier about the firings. I didn't finish that thought.
Yeah.
I am way more all over the road than I thought. But yeah, the obviously it was the customer service department team that suffered the most. And yeah, you're right. It's like he's trying to automate it, but it's crap. If I can't get help trying to load a video up in a timely fashion, I'm talking about a timely fashion. He's encouraging all these content creators. This is what makes me angry about it. He's out there, trying to encourage content creators, and I'm right there, gung-ho, yeah, I'm all right there with you, to the point that I'm considering, YouTube being secondary, and maybe that's where all this content gets put, because he's improving, how long videos can be, but it's got a lot to improve on, man. That's where I've just got to be blatantly honest. I don't want to just be a fanboy that rattles off how great Elon Musk is and all the great things he's doing, because I know I sound like that at times because I get excited about the things that happen, especially with the rocket stuff. But when it comes to Twitter, it's a business for one, and he sees that. That's why he was trying to make it earn money, obviously.
Yeah.
But you also got people on here that are trying to do business on it as well. And let me tell you something. I was nowhere as in the size where I was almost at 400 followers. This is one thing that irritates me. I was trying to get to 500 so I can start monetizing it. So I was like a handful of people away from 400 when this happened. So imagine if you're a big content creator and this happens to you and you're actually living off the income of a Twitter, of a YouTube. It doesn't matter who this is. This could happen to you. The bad part about it for me is all the followers that I lost. Like, there's many that I can kind of go through, the ones I interact with the most, and kind of salvage them, but those are few and far between. The ones that hit you up to kind of keep up with what you're doing, those, you need those people.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you want, and not bots. That's great for getting my numbers up there, but I want real people, that are, if I tell a joke, they're actually going to laugh at it.
Well, bots will also conscript you into any kind of like disinformation stream that they want to involve you in, and the algo and everything that they'll tie you in. I wanted to back up on something you were saying earlier, and like, is there some aspect of the modern social, I don't know a better word, zeitgeist, the digital service and everything of how we socially interact these days? Should that be commoditized by our government? Is that something that's like on that level to where it's a needed service?
I'm not for having the government get involved with anything, not on especially on a federal level. Now, maybe if we wanted to talk about individual states, that's hard to do with something that's not just in the United States, but a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
In fact, this stuff comes up with Elon. People get mad at him for censoring stuff in Turkey, but he has no. He tries to explain to these people, well, if these people want any kind of Twitter in Turkey, then I have to abide by that country's rules. And if they tell me to censor all this stuff, then I have to. But in America, it's a different story. You know, our government can try that, but we have, you know, the Constitution that says that's a no-no.
Well, I mean, that's why I bring it up, because it is a first rights issue, is it not? Freedom of speech. If you cannot be heard, that goes against the Constitution. And if you don't have a digital presence, who's going to hear you, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's irritating because it's like starting. I mean, like for me, starting all over. I had this other account, my old account from way back in the day when I first got on Twitter. And so, you know, I swapped it over and made it look like the other one a little bit and same writing and all that. But then I got to go collect all these followers. You know, I was saying, imagine getting cut off and this is your livelihood, dude. You're making thousands of dollars on this stuff and boom, you're gone. Hopefully, now see, this is a learning experience for me because I'm going to, you know, you need to have some other place that your followers can get you. Then
that's what I was going to say. This is something that happens in the beginning before you've got traction. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a learning experience. These people that are relying on the income from these platforms, they have already gone through that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So they now have a good relationship with whoever they have to, with the company. And, you know, if there's ever any issues, they have somebody to go and take something down, edit, corrections, whatever. So yeah, it's just a result of, you know, where you're at in this journey, right?
Yeah. Well, it's very disappointing.
We do have some news, right?
Yeah, we do have some news, and we'll talk a little bit about the saga of my new PC, which I did get built. We are actually functioning on it as we speak, so we'll get down to that. But yeah. Boom, boom, boom. That's a more updated, like a little more bassy. I couldn't hit no bass notes. Boom, boom, boom. But anyway, news is here, and
yes, it is.
Man, we don't have a lot of news, but I saw the new Ahsoka trailer that had just come out about 3 days ago. Did you check it out?
I did, and I've got to say, so far I'm a big fan of, color coordination, set design, hair and makeup, like a lot of things that have been lacking in some of the other IPs.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up.
Yeah, what I've seen so far looks really fantastic. Kind of like the feel of, oh hell, now I can't remember the name of the show, the other show, not Mandalorian. Oh God.
Boba?
No, the other one, the good one.
The good show.
Jesus, it just went off. Oh man, the Star Wars show, Andor. Jeez, I can't believe I was like, where is it? I got to pull it from somewhere. It reminded me like it's got the tone and it just, man, does it look good. And that little heir to the Empire line she has was a nice throwback to the books. Mm-hmm. That was for the fans for sure. They had to make sure to get that in the trailer. But
well, I mean, the whole storyline is fan service, right?
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait till we actually get to see Thrawn and this fleshes out, because they have been teasing us, tickling our assholes with a feather for like 3 years now. You know, with the Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all that. We've
just
heard
dropping his name in here and there.
Yeah, like last time, we saw Ahsoka, you know, kind of rough some people up, like, where's Thrawn?
Right.
Love it. Can't wait for it, man. And hopefully it won't be long. You know, they say summer's here almost. So
almost.
Yeah. We also have coming up too, I didn't even put it on the notes, we've got the Strange New Worlds coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
I haven't decided, since it's the only one we have. I'll have to look and see if anything's going to start overlapping, like where we have to do 2 again, like we were last time.
Well, that's the only big thing on my sci-fi radar I'm aware of right now. I may have to correct that later, but
Yeah, I think so too. I hope it stays that way because I like where we can focus all our attention on one thing and maybe, go a little bit longer with it. Maybe not.
right.
Who knows? But yeah, go check out the trailer if you haven't seen it. Now, I just did a search on the web. It didn't come up quite so easy. You got the old trailer. So go on YouTube and search for it and look for the one
Right.
that's about 3 or 4 days old, depending on when you actually watch this video. Okay, so moving on out to something we talk about here and there is the music industry and bands. We like, I like all kinds of things, but generally metal is one of
Right.
my favorite genres.
I'm the same way, but metal's kind of on the side where you would place, I don't know, one of your not favorites, but things you have appreciation for, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Slipknot, who we're talking about, definitely falls into that. It's pedestrian is how I would describe my exchange investment with the band.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do every now and again. I'm like, hey, I like that song, and
Right.
especially when it comes to Corey, for example, I'm like, oh, well, that sucks, or that's cool, or
Mhm.
when you hear about their personal life here and
Yeah.
there, and this is part of that, right?
No doubt. And boy, it's always been, it seems like there's always a little something going on anymore
Yeah.
with that band. And when you have 9 members, it's bound to happen.
Right.
So the biggest news is that Craig, the keyboard player slash effects sample guy,
Sampler.
sample man, he's out. He's gone. And he's one of the original members. He's been there for a long time.
No, he was a replacement, I thought. Well, he didn't replace anybody, but they had gotten rid of somebody and bought him on from
I
the
don't
very
know. It's
beginning.
he goes so far back that like I've seen
But
pictures
yeah,
of him in like he's one that had it was a motorcycle helmet with nails driven through it.
yeah.
So
He has been with them for a long time,
yeah.
but not quite the beginning.
Well, I mean, let's call it from Corey Slipknot on. He's been there, and I think he was there before Corey actually.
Right.
So he's one of the original, like, larger size of the band.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, on the outs now. No
on the
longer,
outs,
no longer part of it.
yeah, who knows why? It could be for any number of reasons.
Creative differences.
Yeah. It could be drugs, could be money, could be creative differences. Could be just tired as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be touring schedule. It could
Yeah.
be anything.
I mean, man, who knows? You may have a family. I don't know. You say okay. You said it was kind of pedestrian. Your relationship with them. I've been quite a fan in my younger days. I still consider myself more than a casual listener. I mean, I don't listen to them all the time, but I certainly, if I heard a song, I would love it,
Right.
and enjoy it. I don't seek it out right now, but I do phases with bands anyway, so there might be a Slipknot phase coming up. Who knows?
Right.
They would have to put out something new that I really dug, and the last few things that have come out just sounded very much the same. Nothing innovative anymore. Just rehashing stuff they know made work. And that's fine. They got new audiences to please, so I can still listen to the old stuff and be happy. No problem. Right. I'd like to see them live. I think they were going to come through here, or did probably. Might have been during COVID, though, and never happened. I don't remember. But there's actually other stuff going on with them, too. So Clown is not going to be on this tour. He's got some issues. I think his wife has some health problems, and he wants to be with her, understandably. And Jay Weinberg, the drummer, he's got a new mask that everybody's talking about. Looks pretty neat. They have already replaced Craig with some guy. We don't know any names or anything, like a character name or whatever, but his mask has kind of Craig-like features, like a zipper mouth. It's got a hood, much like... no, he doesn't have the extensions or anything like that. Because it had... Well, I just saw a hood over it. I don't know. I couldn't tell. It just had a zipper mouth and like maybe a stitch on the nose. And he had a hood kind of like the one that Sid would wear with his weirdo mask, that, like a human mask looking thing he has. It's got like servos in it and shit that move, make it, it's weird looking. I don't know. It kind of creeps me out the way it looks. And that's about it for rounding out the Slipknot stuff and really kind of rounding out the major news, because we're going to have this other thing just a hot topic for us just to rant all over in general. This is the last news item, and that's the Apple.
Well, it's getting into our meat and potatoes of this entire
Yeah.
episode, right?
The main chunk of the news here is the Apple WWDC 2023 was this week.
Had some big news.
Big news, various, things like new updates to Mac OS. Shit. Well, the biggest thing they had that everybody was talking about was these AR VR goggles.
The Vision Pro, or is it just Vision?
Vision Pro AR, of what I have written down. I don't know if that's their name. I know their Vision Pro is the name of them.
Yeah.
Get ready
and
for
the
this.
introduction of the R1 chipset along with that, but the price tag.
Yeah, because this does have the M2 chipset and the R1, which is new Apple Silicon. The price $300. No, we wish $3,499, man.
Yeah,
$3,500.
That's a pretty big chunk.
And I don't know where your rant's going, but this is the same old shit, different day with Apple, man.
Yeah.
These prices they charge, man, they're not. Their products aren't that good. They're good, and they're only good because they exclude everyone else from playing in their sandbox. Mm-hmm. To the point where they have to fight it in court a lot with stuff like the Apple, the iOS stuff, where the Apple Store. That's what I'm trying to say. The Apple Store. It shows how much I like these fuckers. It's ridiculous, man. Like, what? Why? And this goes back to the beginning, man. And that's why I always still, to this day, even though it's not, I still call Apple a niche company. Because if you want to talk about computer-wise, they really are still.
I call it a corporate cult, personally.
Yeah. Well,
when you have a guy like Steve Jobs running the show and pitching what he was pitching, and then Tim Cook
drank the Kool-Aid.
Obviously didn't follow in the footsteps, but yeah, he drank the Kool-Aid and tried.
Yeah,
and
he put on the black turtleneck.
Yeah. But my big rant about this is it ties into everything that we've been talking about Twitter, about my interaction with this device right here. I got to tell you, when I stopped checking social media like Twitter or Reddit or any of that crap, news sources, my interaction with my phone just became like 10 times better. It's like no longer was I sitting on the can in the morning, like death scrolling through political bullshit, right? I've started tracking my activity on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't have a watch, so there's a lot of manual shit I have to do, but I go for a walk every day, sometimes more. It's tracking the calories I'm using. I'm tracking my sleep. I'm going to bed at a different time and using that to help with that and other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like getting away from that has been great, and it's harder to do these days. And AR is one thing, right? It's one thing to have the option to interact with digital and augmented reality effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to commoditize it, or commercialize it rather, to where it's, in order to make it profitable, it has to be accessible to everybody. You got to market to everybody, right?
Theoretically, you should. Yes.
Well, and the way they're going to do that, third party people will develop apps and programs and media stuff for it, right? And now I had this conversation with somebody the other day. Is like my parents, when the smartphone first came out, they were all like, nobody can sit at the dinner table with their phone out. And meanwhile, nowadays they're like 8 hours a day at least on their devices.
Right. Yeah.
And just imagine a headset instead, to where they can really check out a reality. And that's something I see as a possibility of this. If it takes off and they make it affordable, and people actually start adopting it, It's just some great things in technology are in there, but there's a price, right?
Well, that's what a lot of people I heard talking about it. That's kind of the spiel they were given. Like, this is the new iPhone, you
Right,
know?
yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, maybe one day, yeah, because I can see a day where like the movie Ready Player One, were existing like that.
Yeah.
And, part of me is like, yeah, that's awesome. I would love to do it. I don't know if I want to live in that world though, like for real.
Right.
But maybe
Yeah.
just visiting it for a while, yeah.
Well, the awesome part is the fantasy. The scary part is reality, like we found out with social media. Like it was cool to be able to reach out to your friends in the digital world and interact with shit
Yeah,
on the internet.
yeah,
But then we found out, these people were pulling data off of us. They're setting us up for addictive behaviors.
yeah.
They're controlling and manipulating us. Um,
They're
that's just the
listening to us,
reality.
watching us.
Yeah, that's just the reality that is the fallout of these fantastical things. They're trying to sell you something, and they're going to keep trying to sell you something.
But
That's
see,
just
the
the way
thing
it
with
is.
me, it makes me mad because Apple is, I mean, they try to create a status symbol. It's not like they're
Yeah.
trying to help further the industry, because if they were trying to do that, they'd put it out there for a lot less to try and
Oh
get,
yeah.
because here they're putting it out at the end of the last big rush on AR and VR stuff. That's
Mhm.
crashing bad because of AI.
Yeah.
Everybody jumped onto AI and left Meta just standing there with their dicks in their hand.
Yep. And they were coming out with their 3, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh,
Yeah, nobody
oh well.
wants to be on it. And listen, I mean, I just can't afford it. I would love to play with that stuff, but we've got a friend who's in the industry. So
Yeah.
I am big time support of what he does and anything that's happening in that industry, but I don't own anything that can do VR or AR except a
Same.
phone. That's the
Yeah.
closest I've got to it. And, that's not putting it over your eyes and immersing yourself into the world.
Yeah. I've got a headset for my phone that I've never ever used.
Oh, yeah. See, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It $3,500, man. I don't know where they're, but it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to see what numbers come out. Like, they they say it's going to be the next iPhone. I don't know if it's Apple that does it. They're certainly coming in again at a time where it's not, nobody wants it. Who's
Well,
asking
let's
for it?
also let's also be realistic about what we were shown versus what it's capable of, right? Because Apple has been known to do that as well. I guarantee you 100%. None of the footage you've seen of that face effect, where it projects your face on the other side for people to interact with, guarantee you that was all like post production.
Yeah,
That is not what they're actually throwing up.
doubtful.
And stuff like that. It's like they're selling you ideas. That's what companies like this do.
Yeah.
You're not buying a product, you're buying an idea of what you want to do.
And the thing is that, like, I mean, who's going to be able to develop in that space? Like, I wonder. I mean, like, I worry, like, because, Microsoft killed off the HoloLens. Who's to say that this isn't the same kind of deal? Like, after a few years, they just decide, well, this ain't working.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's happened before, like you said, with the HoloLens, but other companies as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's another thing. They're projecting this for the beginning of next year, right?
I can't remember. I think so. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I
It
think it
was
was the beginning of
2024.
next.
Yeah. I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe later. I don't know. Who knows what's going to change between now and then, especially freaking Apple. I mean, they've been all up in the news for the past what 2 years, 3. I mean, forever. But most recently with the right to repair and
Yeah.
uh,
That's the other thing,
spying.
too. The right to repair stuff, man. I mean, it's getting just where these companies are just so big. Look at Nvidia now, man. There's talk of, Linus Sebastian was talking about how gaming is just not even considered at Nvidia anymore. They're making so much money. Their valuation went up so much the last week because of the AI space. with these new processors they're coming out with, and they've got this contract with ARM. You go to his partner pointed out, you go to nvidia.com and you can't even find gaming easily on there. You know, whereas you used to, you could find the GeForce stuff all over the page and where to go.
That's just a sign of what these businesses are, man. Nvidia is no exception, right? They were the pinnacle of the gaming community, right? It's like you wanted the best TI, or what were the other ones, Atlases or something? One of their other models that was like huge performance.
Oh, you talking about you talking about their server space or just their workstation space?
Yeah, their server.
Yeah, they have, well, the A1, the A processors. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. But anyway, basically they were invested in the gaming community, right? And then what happened? The crypto community came in, got all the cards. What did they do? They didn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. Except for manufacture more cards and, institute rules of some sort, right? But yeah, they just jumped on the crypto boat and was like, yeah, we're here now.
Linus made a good point that maybe they should sell off the GeForce brand and let them just focus on the gaming side.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They can reap the rewards of the technology that NVIDIA comes up with and apply it to their gaming cards. And I'm down with that. I think that's a great idea. I don't know that NVIDIA will be, I don't know that they do that, It seems to be the logical step.
Well, it would, but I mean, it doesn't make a lot of business sense, right? For the people that are in the business, that are performing the task at the business right now, because it's an investment.
Well, maybe not even sell them off, maybe split them off. And then at least you're getting some money out of it, and you can say it makes business sense.
Right.
But let them do
and that's what I would say,
like
a splinter thing, that it's its own business, that's kind of like a front for this business, right? You're getting money off of the chips that you're selling them.
Well, nobody would know who the hell NVIDIA is if it wasn't for the gaming business. So I don't think they really need to lose that. It'll be important for them to, I hope.
I don't know. That's what I was just saying, though. The whole thing with the crypto community, it's like they are not invested in that relationship anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. They charge exorbitant amount of money for video cards, for AR headsets.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's assholes that are out there buying them.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Yep. Not this asshole.
Or this one.
But yeah, that's all I got to say about that, man. I'm just so angry with Twitter, Apple, YouTube. I mean, we're making no traction on YouTube. We got to get some subscribers going, man. I don't know if it's an algorithm, what it is.
I'm not done with my YouTube brand. I didn't even get on that. I have to go into YouTube every day. Every day I go into YouTube.
So do I.
And I have to delete photos from my history, or not photos, but videos I've viewed from my history. Because I like getting some of the updates on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But if I make a mistake, like this has happened so many times, I'll click on one video from The Daily Show that isn't even political. It's just comedy, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, after that, my whole feed is like, political bullshit.
Right. Well, it's not only that, it's even if you have watched something that it tries to feed you back again, that it knows you've watched. And I tell it, no, don't give me this. Well, do you tell us why? Because I've seen it, fucknut. You should know that.
Right.
What the hell? I mean, they're keeping all these logs and stuff, and that thing doesn't know that it showed me that video already?
Well, what's the point of a saved playlist or a watch later playlist if you're going to, throw it up again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I have a lot of irritation. I was hoping that Twitter was going to be our savior because, I mean, like I said, I was making good following there, getting some eyes on stuff, and obviously that's what pulled up a few of our subscribers on YouTube. And that would have worked out even better because it would have just scaled, Yeah. We would have gotten some. For like every 1,000, we would have gotten one YouTube subscriber or something. It would have scaled somehow.
Well, we've talked a bunch about like what we're going to do when we get all this money, right? When we become billionaires, the systems we're going to build and all
That's
that.
right.
Honestly, I would love to start a tech company that doesn't operate by the the modern rules of how they operate, right? Like no shareholders, like it's not going to be about like making these profit lines every year. You're going to have to stay in business, but the idea is going to be the principles, the technology itself, right?
Yeah,
Getting it out
OpenAI
there,
did it.
getting it to use, and not making profit so the business can stay open. But that's the only reason for the profits. It's
It's
for the
called
business,
starting
right?
a nonprofit and then somehow having somebody buy you up like Microsoft. OpenAI did it, and it's questionable
Yeah,
whether it really should have been legal or not. They were a
right.
nonprofit organization, so they didn't have, I mean, they could keep the doors open and make a profit, but not profit. Uh,
Pay
and
people.
then all of a sudden they get bought out. That's how you do it. And they got away with it, but I don't know that everybody will get away with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would be a job. It would not be an avenue for money, right?
Yeah.
The money would come, hopefully, right? They would be able to uh, be sustainable, but the idea would be the work, the effort, and getting technology out in the world and access is really the big thing to me. Without access, it's always somebody else's tool, right? Somebody's trying to use it to exploit somebody else.
Well, I had the idea the other day that I think that you should do some kind of open source ticket master, for lack of a better word, okay? Because Ticketmaster holds all the cards when it comes to tickets in this country and maybe other countries too. I don't know.
Yeah,
But the fees they charge are just ridiculous. Like whatever the band or whatever function you're seeing is charging, you can just go ahead and double it. And that's all the extra bullshit. And that doesn't even cover like you getting your money back. You got to pay extra to make sure you get your money back.
yeah.
Why not have an open source? I mean, like, I feel like you just need to create an open source ticket. I don't have the means to create something like that, but just start going to the bands and just you have to have somebody that can set up a website that can handle, doing it.
Yeah.
But just open it up, man. Take out the ticket map. Bands come in, set their prices for their tickets. People can come in there and pay their tickets. You have rules set up to where you don't get smashed by somebody buying out the whole event, and then selling them elsewhere. You got to come up with something for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be
Well,
able
that
to
would
implement
ideally
something
be
like that.
blockchain, right?
I would think so, something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential to blockchain, man. People just all they hear is crypto all the time. But I've
Oh no, so much. Like if
uh,
we could get it involved in like government stuff that was like behind closed doors, like developed by the government, their own blockchain,
I think
I
it's
think it would clear up a lot of shit.
well, it's going to be hugely important just validating anything digital media related on the internet.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. I mean, how are you going to know that this is the real deal that I'm looking at unless it's got that digital watermark that can't be
Mhm.
fucked with? That's the thing. It cannot be hacked either. We got to have that.
Yeah.
It's important. Um, so you talked about us having a lot of money and the things we would buy. Well, I don't have a lot of money to invest in this business, but at times it just your own personal life kind of they come together, they converge, and it's like, well, I just need to make this plunge. And I told you last week I ordered the parts for a new computer, and those parts have come, and I have build the computer yesterday. I spent all fucking day yesterday working on getting my room. I started earlier. I started all week pulling stuff out of the room, but then it finally
Right.
came where I was moving furniture and stuff around. And when I was done with that, I had to place a table where I could actually work on the computer and build it. So I put it together, and if I do say so myself, I still have the touch.
That
You know, it was always my thing, and I used to laugh at the guys who did it. The guys, I never ever preset up a motherboard with everything and tested it with the power supply outside of a case. I never did that ever. It's a huge waste of time, in my opinion.
I agree.
And when we got to CDO, a lot of the guys there, I started noticing would do that. And I was like, why are you guys doing that for? Well, just to make sure it all works. I don't want to pull it back out. I said, bro, if you know what you're doing, that some bitch will work more often than it won't. And you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Well, I mean, the only thing you got to do to check it is just anchor it at 2 points, right?
Yeah.
And then drop a card in, make sure your memory and all your other shit's in, plug it up, power it, see if you get post. And if you don't, there's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I mean, and look, this stuff's changed a lot. The last time I built a computer, was in 2013, something like that. And, I said, what, AM2 Plus or AM3s may have just been out. Yeah, that's what it was. I had not put a CPU on that didn't have pins. This was my first, which kind of, it unnerved me a little bit, but everything went fine. Like when it closed down on the CPU to hold it in, it was like, I'm like, oh God, that doesn't sound good, man. That sounds horrible. So yeah, that made me a bit nervous, but, the DIMM switches, the DIMM slots are a little bit different. They don't have ears on both sides, at least on my motherboard. It's just got on one, and you got just one ear that you, so.
Mine's the same way.
I'm dealing with the new tower cooler. I could have used the Intel one that came with the CPU, and it's just kind of the old school circular one. But I was like, nah, fuck that. I want to make sure. I didn't even consider how silent it would be, but I did like after the fact. But yeah, I was smart to do it because I'm looking to have a much less loud system. My sound floor was ridiculous.
Yeah. What'd you get for your CPU fan?
It's not Thermaltake, but it's like Thermalright.
And it's good it's really quiet.
So yeah, I can't hear anything. Now, that's a setting I can go into the BIOS and set it to go a little bit higher, and it does have some noise to it. Yeah. But man, that tower cooler right there is more than adequate for that CPU. That CPU is not even remotely thinking about getting hot. With just enough air passing through it, that fan's barely blowing. But yeah, it boom. First time I powered it up, I had everything in there all set, wired, and ready to go. Closed the side of it, powered it up. The only thing I didn't get right, and this is just my own ignorance because I've never had to deal with it, was RGB stuff. My power supply has it in it. The motherboard has some lights on it, and it can control it. The fan on the tower cooler has it, and I don't have the little hub you need. I need to get myself a little hub. I didn't know it. So once I get that, it all has some pretty lights. It looks really cool anyway with just a little bit of light it has in it. Because I've never built in a case like this where the power supply is shrouded in the bottom like that, and you just have that one compartment where a side glass, which is tinted, it's tinted dark gray, so you can barely see in it. Very nice.
Mine's done that way too.
Yeah, it's very choice. Zalman, I remember their name from way back in the day, and they didn't disappoint. I was not disappointed. It's got the magnetic, just like a little magnetic filter. I was hoping it would have, like you do.
Very nice.
Very cool. The only thing I didn't like was the fan on the front. It came with two fans. One I can put on the motherboard. The front fan is just a little old ass Molex connector.
Right.
To just give it straight power. You can't, I'm thinking I need to, well, I guess you can't. You can't change it. If it doesn't have the gear in there, there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, well. I can just replace it. That's the point. It's just to move air, Yeah. But it's quiet, too. But it's moving plenty of air. But, yeah, we're recording on it right now, and 1080 instead of 720, so we'll see how this goes, 60 frames per second. I can actually see that my mouth is moving with my words precisely, so that's nice. And, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to edit on it later, but I got to get my programs installed. I don't have them installed yet, so I'm going to have to do that first before I edit. Yeah, I'm behind, man. It may not be Monday till this comes out.
Well, maybe that'll help reset the algo or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Because you and I are going to start recording earlier on Fridays, we hope.
We are going to change our schedule.
Yeah, we're hoping this week, so we can get videos out on Saturdays. Knock on wood.
Would be nice.
Yeah. So anyway, you got anything else, bro?
I think that's it. I just wanted to rant a little bit about, maybe you should take this opportunity with the whole Twitter experience and, you know, take some time for you.
Yeah. Oh, and believe me, I have. Like, I have not been on it as much. Like, I've got an account and I've done things here and there just to grab a few followers, close followers. Uh, but yeah, I've got things to take care of. So I'm gonna still. It's still part. I won't be defeated though. Like,
Right.
I have a goal, and I'm gonna keep focusing on that goal. And yeah, it's a major hurdle, a major bump in the road, but it was only 300 and some people, almost 400. I can do it again, and hopefully,
Well,
maybe I'll do it faster.
Here's something we haven't discussed either. At one point, we'll share this with the audience because I think we've shared it before. We were discussing on whether or not we wanted to do this for real live, right?
Yeah,
Um, that will change our, interaction with the algorithm.
no doubt, and we'll certainly get there. Especially now that I've got power to make sure that happens. That's a
Right.
big
You
thing.
can accomplish that on that machine now.
Yes, I finally have the capability. So hopefully things will start to develop, man. This is the thing. No matter what you believe theologically or philosophically in life, I find for me anyway that when I'm about to make a big something big's about to come my way, I'm gonna have to eat a lot of shit or like climb over a lot of stuff
No,
to climb a lot of rocks, get over the
that's pretty
mountain
accurate. I think that's
before
just
I
part
get
of the
there.
human experience.
Yeah. So, you know, I didn't even mention I'm taking care of 2 orphan kittens too. That's the other
Right.
thing I've got going on right now. I was
And you
gonna,
should probably go feed them, right?
yeah, it's getting soon. I got to go feed them. They're like a week old. It's a brother and sister. They had another, I don't know what, because I didn't see it. Was told it didn't make it.
Mm.
So there were at least 3 of them. And I wasn't sure there would be 2 of them for very long. One of them I had a tough time getting take to the bottle, but they're both taking to the bottle great. My worry right now is the stimulation, trying to get them to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting them to pee fine, but I have not seen any feces, so that's concerning me a bit. We'll see how it goes. I guess I'll keep y'all updated on the kitten saga. They're not going to stay at my house, but once they get old enough to fend for themselves, they're going to get given away somewhere.
Right.
But anyway,
Well,
it's a continued saga.
kudos to you for being a good human being and
Oh
taking
man.
care of less fortunate animals.
Well, I'll be honest, dude. They were going to get drowned. The guy that was like, "I'm going to drown these things." I'm like, "The fuck you are, dude."
Damn.
I'd sooner drown your ass than these kittens.
Right.
That's the only empathy I've been able to ever express is towards animals, and I don't know if it's because they're helpless, defenseless, whatever. They're not always defenseless, but especially a kitten definitely is. A 1 week old kitten, and if you can't take it back to its mother, then just give him to me. If you're that lazy, some bitch. Hopefully he doesn't see that.
Motherfucker should be drowning cats.
That's bullshit,
Kittens.
man. I mean, I know people do that shit, man. Right? I mean, I get it. Sometimes
I don't get it. I know they do, but
well, I
I
mean,
don't get it.
in areas where feral cats are, and you don't have any other way of getting rid of them, like honestly, like you don't have access. I'm talking like third world country type shit. I mean, I
Yeah,
get
that's
reasons why it has to be done sometimes,
right.
but just no, not in this country. Not when
Right.
I'll take them from you. And nah, man, it's not the mentality to have, bro. Why didn't you just take them back to their mama? You took it. They were in a boat. The guy didn't check his boat. He brought it out to the lake. He could have just kept them there the whole day. They would have been fine, and then
Yeah.
brought them back, put the boat back where it was, and once the mama cat came out, I just think he didn't want them. I mean, honestly, it was just a way he didn't give a shit. But I wasn't having it, man. I have to stay up. I have to get up in the middle of the night with him. But it is
Again,
what
be
it is.
excellent to each other, right?
Yes. Always be excellent to each other because you never know, man. You just never know. And as always, we'll see you on the flip side.
Hoorah.
Peace out.
You want to get a frame?
A frame. Fuck Twitter. Yeah, we can't have that one. I wish we could.
All right.
Let me put this thing up real quick. Hold on. Boom.